Hare Krishna everyone, I'm Ryan Shankar and I will be presenting on the verses 10, 11 and 12 of the Sri Isopnishad. Mukam parvati vachalam pangam rangayate karam yatirakatam hamade paramananda madhapam. So, verse 10. Anya devahur vidyaya, anyadahura vidyaya, iti shushrumadhiranam, yenastad vichakshire. Anyad evahur vidyaya. One result is derived from the culture of knowledge, which is vidya. Anyadahur avidyaya. And a different result is got from the culture of niscience, which is avidya. Iti shushrumadhiranam. We have heard from the wise, yenastad vichakshire, who have explained it to us through the parampara. So the full translation is that the wise have explained that one result is derived from the culture of knowledge and that a different result is obtained from the culture of niscience. And the big idea in this verse is that the results of avidya and vidya are not the same. So what is vidya? In the verses 13.8 to 13.12 of the Bhagavad Gita, there are 18 items for cultivating knowledge, some of which include pridelessness, nonviolence, tolerance, simplicity, and serving a guru. And all of these 18 items combined are the only way to obtain real knowledge, which is about Krishna. And all other activities promote niscience. And this is the category of ignorance. And the jivas who are in this category of ignorance, they try to lord over the planet, but they are still frustrated with the same four things over and over again. And these four things are birth, old age, disease, and death. And this causes many things, some of which include scientists become busy discovering lethal weapons, such as the atomic bomb. Students have no faith in the scriptural injunctions, and animosity grows in every field due to nationalism. And because of this, these jivas, people, they keep trying to grasp sense enjoyment for as long as they can. And so nations are fixated on defense. And instead of spending that money on defense, they could have used it on things more productive. So, to get knowledge, which is vidya, from a dhira, a spiritually realized person, we must do three things. We must submissively hear from them, follow the regulative principles, as well as take shelter from the bona fide guru. And these modern politicians are adhiras, somebody that isn't realized. And they pose as dhiras, but they're actually adhiras. And one cannot expect to gain perfect knowledge from them because they are simply trying to get gain from you and they can just leave you at any moment. So, verse 11. Vidyam cha yas tadvedo bhayam saha avidyaya mrityum tirtva vidyayam mritam ashnute. So the line by line is Vidyam cha yas tadvedo bhayam saha. Only one who can learn both vidya and avidyaya mrityum tirtva, can transcend repeated birth and death. And vidyayam mritum ashnute, attain immortality or liberation. The full translation is that only one who can learn the process of niscience and that of transcendental knowledge side by side can transcend the influence of repeated birth and death and enjoy the full blessings of immortality. So the big idea in this verse is that cultivating both avidya and vidya side by side grants one immortality. And materially, immortality just isn't possible. Brahma himself is not immortal, and the demon Hiranyakashipu, even after obtaining so many boons from Brahma, he was still able to die. So then how can we attain immortality? By studying the revealed scriptures like the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and the Upanishads, and learning and implementing the process of going back to Godhead. So, what is true intelligence? It is the knowing of the soul and our relationship with the super soul, the Paramatma. And material miseries are foretelling us that we don't belong here, because we truly don't. And those who are intelligent take these reminders and they cultivate vidya so that they can go back to their eternal spiritual home. But those who are naradamas, the lowest of human beings, they don't take these reminders and they keep staying in this path of birth and death over and over again. They keep undergoing the same four miseries. And because we need to maintain our body in this life, we need to have a balanced program of spiritual and material knowledge in order to live our lives healthily, and in Krishna consciousness. And finally, what this means is that unless dharma, duty, artha, economic development, and kama, sense gratification, are used towards Krishna's service, once again, they are niscient and lead to repeated birth and death. So verse 12. Andham tamah pravishyanti ye shambhutim upasate tato bhuya ivate tamo ya ushambhutyam ratah. The line by line is Andham tamah pravishyanti ye shambhutim upasate. Demigod worshippers enter the planet of the demigods that are still in the darkness of ignorance. Tato bhuya ivate tamo ya ushambhutyam ratah. The worshippers of the impersonal absolute enter into an even deeper state of darkness. So the full translation is that those who are engaged in the worship of demigods enter into the darkest region of ignorance, and still more so do the worshippers of the impersonal absolute. And the big idea in this verse is that asambhuti, which are those who have no independent existence, the demigods, leads one to darkness, and sambhuti, who is the independent of everything, the absolute personality of Godhead, leads one to greater darkness. And some philosophers, they try to incorrectly imagine that the Lord is absolute. And, they try to incorrectly imagine that the Lord is formless. And they can only reach the impersonal glaring effulgence of the Lord, which is the Brahman, but they cannot reach the higher stages, which is Bhagavan and Paramatma. And this is an imperfect conception because the dependent demigods and sages' conception that the Lord is impersonal is imperfect due to the fact that all the planets are, that all the karmis, jnanis, and sages, all those people who are trying to go to all these material planets, they're also personal. And since the Lord, who can run faster than everyone, he can immediately go to all these planets. So how can he just be formless? Of course he has to be personal. And this means that we shouldn't seek temporary relief from material distress by worshiping the dependent demigods, who can only bestow temporary benefit. And this is due to the fact that they are also entangled in this material condition, in this material universe that is like a dark coconut shell. But we shall worship Lord Sri Krishna, who is all attractive and who can bestow upon us complete freedom from material bondage by taking us back home, back to Godhead. And his abode, Golok Vrindavan, is the highest planet in the Brahma Jyoti, which itself surrounds this coconut shell of a universe. And it shows that instead of watering the leaves, which are the demigods, we should water the root of them, who is the Lord Sri Krishna. And this will make everyone satisfied. And one more point. The pseudo-religionists, they are the religionists that only become so for the sake of name and fame. And the atheists and the impersonalists lead these people into the darkest regions of hell by preaching the cult of atheism, which denies the existence of Lord Sri Krishna, who we have already been proven to be absolute and with a form. So, in summary, today, I discussed the differences between Vidya and Avidya, who are intelligent and who are not, the necessity for balance within all of our lives, and the problem with the impersonalist conception. Hare Krishna.